Jobkeeper has been extended until Christmas. Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my Monday morning stein of coffee, and I'm probably starting a bit late with the recordings today, but I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au, which is highlighting the fact that Jobkeeper has been extended until Christmas. Now, I can't imagine many of you are at all surprised if you've been following the news or the articles that we've been looking at discussing Jobkeeper. We've had a steady drip of articles, one after the other, of saying fiscal cliff, September, all these mechanisms will drop off. There'll be a housing plunge in September. What will happen when the mortgage holidays disappears, which have now the banks have the ability to extend those until March. When Jobkeeper disappears. Now, in some regards, that's been extended till Christmas. And the only thing left is the job seeker increase, the job seeker bonus. Now, the issue with the job seeker bonus is if you make it, if it's too high, it's going to be a disincentive to work because people aren't stupid. Seriously, there's cost associated with working. There's costs associated just with getting to work, traffic, driving, parking, lunch, coffee, all these things add up. So I can understand how someone may be on, a fair chunk less money, but when you add in, okay, they're not stressed anymore, quality of life maybe is improving, they're actually getting to know their family, you can see why. It can turn into a disincentive. I'm hoping people will, for the first time, this may be the silver lining to all of this, to these economic restrictions and all the issues that have been going on, is some people may step back and realize they've been on a treadmill, just chasing something. And maybe they needed this slap in the face to wake up and realize, why am I running after that? Why am I trying to keep up with such and such? Why am I wasting resources and a good part of my life? Being a debt slave to someone. There has to be a better way. Hopefully some people will realize that. And sometimes it takes something like this to wake people up. Let me know in the comments if this is the first time you've actually taken a break. Because particularly for small business owners, actually stepping away and taking a holiday can be very hard. This may be the first forced holiday that some people have had to have, maybe in their entire working life. So let's have a look at how Jobkeeper is extended. And this questions the need for forced sales if they start materializing on the market, if this support mechanism is getting extended. So, Jobkeeper to be extended until Christmas, and the eligibility will be tightened. Jobkeeper is set to be extended. Before you breathe a sigh of relief, it will be worth less and will be harder to claim the wage subsidy. There we go. The Jobkeeper wage subsidy will extend until Christmas at a reduced rate of over $1,000 a fortnight for companies that qualify under a new, tighter eligibility test. News.com.au has confirmed that the long-awaited Jobkeeper 2.0, to be announced this week, will reduce the current wage subsidy from $1,500 a fortnight, but extend the wage support to pandemic-impacted businesses until the end of the year. See, here's the thing. I suspect that we wouldn't see the fallout, really the fallout, and start to experience the impact of the recession until February, until Jan-Feb next year, after that Christmas period, when people went out and probably splurged a little bit. Maybe that might even push it out a little bit more. Maybe that'll push out propping up these businesses long enough for foreign actors to activate increased demand for Australian goods. Maybe we'll suddenly get flooded by Hong Kong immigrants to help prop up our property, although I suspect there wouldn't be enough of them to make a significant difference. Then again, I live in the Asian part of Brisbane, so it definitely would increase demand in my area, I'd imagine. Because they always, when you come to Brisbane, you don't go to Chinatown for good food. You come out to Sunnybank, you go to Marketplace, you go to all the local restaurants here. If you want authentic Chinese food, the good stuff, you come out here. The The stuff in the city, it's not as good. Not as good. The current JobKeeper scheme was due to expire in late September, but Treasurer Josh Frydenberg will now outline the new measures on Thursday. Casuals will no longer secure a flat rate payment, regardless of whether they are full-time or part-time under JobKeeper's second phase. Well, that's good. It was rushed out, everyone. It really was rushed out. There were some people who were earning more money on JobKeeper than they were in their job. It was rushed. So, there was a panic. You can understand just how little organization or how little planning for this occurred. Because, there were kids earning $200 a week suddenly getting $750. Instead, casuals and part-time workers will secure a part-time rate of the JobKeeper subsidy, ending the practice of overpaying casuals. It should have been set that, the businesses can apply for a maximum of $1,500 a fortnight, and depending on how much their staff are paid. Hindsight is 20/20. I know. The decision to phase out the JobKeeper wage subsidy over months rather than have a fiscal cliff in September follows the shock decision to subject Victoria to a second lockdown that requires restaurants to close their doors and millions of Melburnians to stay at home. It's understood the Morrison government also considered tightening eligibility for sole traders, a proposal that got abandoned after the second lockdown. Well, there are a lot of sole traders that are probably getting the money. Some of them don't need it. I know some. And some people have said in the comments, it's free money. You see, here's the thing. You can't blame people for taking it. If they don't, and their competitor does, their competitor will have a measurable competitive advantage. They're getting free money from the state. This is what happens when the government intervenes in the market, everyone. This is what happens. Everyone needs to take it. And the cost's going up, everyone. The cost's going up. We'll have to see. A new turnover test will also apply to JobKeeper when the current scheme ends in September 27 to ensure that customers that have bounced back from the pandemic shutdowns are removed from the program, and it is targeted at the companies that most need support. Companies that don't qualify for JobKeeper now are guaranteed support until the current scheme ends in September and will not be kicked off income support earlier. While not confirming the specific figures for JobKeeper 2, which is understood to be worth over $1,000 a fortnight, Mr. Frydenberg said it was now clear that ongoing support will be required, particularly in Victoria. Particularly in the tourism sector as well. It's just gonna... As we have highlighted, there will be another phase of income support. It will stick to the principles that have guided us. It will be targeted. It will be proportionate. It will be scalable. And it will use existing systems, he told news.com.au. The JobKeeper payment is an economic lifeline to millions of Australians and hundreds of thousands of businesses. Barring the spread of the virus in significant numbers beyond Victoria, we expect to see the other states and territory economies continue their recovery towards a safe economy. So how JobKeeper 2.0 work? How could it work? Companies that are currently seeking JobKeeper will be guaranteed payments until the current scheme ends on September 27. After that day, companies will need to prove they are still being hit by the impact of the shutdowns in the tourism industry or in restaurants and cafes in Melbourne. News.com.au revealed in June that a Treasury review of the JobKeeper scheme was closely examining the option of retesting turnover. Companies currently need to prove turnover is down by 30%, but only need to prove it once to qualify for payments until September. This means a company that was hit in April but bounced back to normal trading in June is still eligible for the $1,500 a fortnight payment for each employee. The new monthly testing options for JobKeeper under consideration could be applied to the current program to wean companies off the subsidy or used to tighten eligibility for the scheme going forward for a smaller number of companies after September, such as Qantas. Okay, there you go. Didn't Qantas have that huge share buyback? Do you think, everyone, will people learn from this to put money aside to have a reserve, or will they learn that the state will intervene and help them? Let me know what you think in the comments. I should probably put a vote up on the community to see. Companies may be required to submit monthly updates on turnover to the ATO to prove cash flow is down. This would make it easy to flick the switch and scrap Jobkeeper for companies that no longer need it. Finance Minister Matthias Cormann confirmed the shift to a new turnover test as sensible. When the Jobkeeper program was first announced and businesses had to demonstrate a drop in turnover of 30% or 50% depending on their level of turnover, once they were in for the entire 6 months, he told Sky News on Sunday. As we get to the end of that 6 months, towards the end of September, it is going to be important to reassess which businesses should still receive this support. In the first 6 months, irrespective of what happened to your turnover, after you initially qualified, you were in. But as we go into the next period, there is a need to reassess whether that support, you still need it for the specific businesses. So calls for a job seeker extension. Here's the next. This is what we're going to start hearing more and more about. ACTU President Michelle O'Neill called for Jobkeeper to be extended. Is it Jobkeeper or Job Seeker? Jobkeeper. Job Seeker to be extended for at least 6 months on Monday. There are also calls to extend the supplement that has doubled the dole, now known as Job Seeker. Economic modelling from the Australia Institute to be released on Monday finds that scrapping Job Seeker in September would force 120,000 children to live in poverty. Wow. I mean, this is... Remember Bob Hawke, everyone? When no Australian child will live in poverty. Remember that? I think there are a lot of people that will be too young to remember that. I remember it as a child. I asked my father to vote for Bob Hawke because I think it was, no child should live in poverty. I was a child that worked on me. This is designed to manipulate you. It's designed to, exactly that, to persuade you. Would somebody think of the children? I need to make a meme of the church woman from The Simpsons so I can just pop it up whenever we read anything like this. Hundreds of thousands of Australians would also struggle to pay rent or service their mortgages, putting acute pressure on the housing market. We've got to watch about housing. Keep that dole high, because you've got to save the children and the houses. If the children didn't get you, the houses would, guys. The supplement has been an essential part of our nation's response to this recession and has improved the lives of nearly 500,000 Australians. In fact, no other government has ever lifted so many people out of poverty so quickly, said Ben O, Executive Director of the Australian Institute. Well, here's the thing. Housing costs have gone up significantly. Inflation doesn't reflect the true impact that housing has had on our cost of living. Cost of housing going up, land going up, that affects the amount of money people have to save, that affects for a deposit, and that affects how much money is flowing through the economy. So that means, our CPI hasn't accurately been reflecting the increased cost of living on all of us. So interest rates are, there's a reason why they're so insanely low. Removing the supplement would put more than 600,000 Australians, including more than 100,000 children, into poverty. This will only have serious negative social effects for decades to come, but make terrible economic policy by effectively withdrawing much-needed stimulus. Our research shows that even if the government removes the supplement but increases the old-rated job seeker by $75 a week, there will be 500,000 person increase in poverty. The Morrison government is also expected to announce more generous job seeker payments will be extended until the end of the year, but also at a lower rate than the current $550 a week payment. I mean, that's the thing. You don't want people to not have to work, guys. I know UBI is the, utopian fantasy that everyone has. That everyone can just sit on their ass and not work. The robots aren't that advanced yet, guys. They're not that advanced, and we're not a society, well, hopefully not yet, a society that compels others to work under duress so you can have a class of people that don't work. I thought that was out of fashion, with the end of feudalism. Oh, well, just, get your mortgage. Get your huge $700,000 mortgage, be a serf to the bank for your whole life, and then you'll be a good little compliant citizen. What do you think, everyone? Do you think these extensions are a good thing? Or would you rather the government just cuts the umbilical cord and lets the economy adjust straight away? I don't think there's the political will on either side well, on either side, on far left or light left, I don't think there's any political will here in Australia to, well, allow that much freedom in the market. It just doesn't seem to be. They're throwing everything they can at housing. It all comes back to housing, everyone. That's our game here. As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and you want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using any of our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Thanks to everyone who's supported the channel. I really appreciate your very generous donations. It goes a long way. And slowly, I'm buying new equipment and polishing the quality of what I produce here. We'll see. I need to learn new skills. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time.